Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my link data and Melee Mechanics video, where today we'll be going over the most comprehensive link resource for link data ever assembled. But before we get into our thread, we need to get some basic knowledge about frame data out of the ways. Otherwise, you're not going to really get anything out of this video, and you're not going to be able to get anything out of this thread. Everything I'm going to show you, there's going to be links in that in the description, so if you want to go ahead and after the video or follow along with me, check that out for yourself. So, starting with basic frame data, what is a frame? So I can show you that here on Dolphin. A frame is just a still image. So you see links not moving. Ordinarily the game runs like this, right? But using the debug menu, which is a developer menu left in by the developers, instead of removing it from the game, they just made it inaccessible in the game's code ordinarily. But with mods and hacks, you can actually access the developer tools, and we use a modded version of that called the 20XX Hack Pack, which increases the functionality for more competitive oriented testing. So if you're interested in finding more out about that, I highly recommend getting the Dolphin emulator, downloading the 20XX Hack Pack, and running it on your own computer. And that way you can get all the testing done for yourself if you're interested in doing it yourself. But for all intents and purposes, I'm making this video just so you can use the resource I provided and actually get something out of it. So here you see that this is a still image, and that's what a frame is. A frame is just a still image. And when a series of still images are played in rapid succession with one another, it creates the illusion of motion, right? These motions are called animations. The rate in which these animations are played is called the frame rate. Melee runs at 60 frames per second, meaning every second the game shows you 60 frames. Or you can think of one frame as being 1/60th of a second. This is important to know because in Melee we use frames as a concrete metric for the timing of things. So when I say, oh, jab's going to come out on frame 6, that's better than, oh, jab comes out quickly, or do this immediately after is kind of vague. That's open to interpretation as opposed to something more concrete where you say you need to do this on the first aerial frame. Completely different. It's much more comprehensive. That way anyone can replicate exactly what you described to them because we are using the same metric of timing. So that's what a frame is. And that's what so now that we know what a frame is, that animations are comprised of frames, what a frame rate is, meaning that animations are played at a rate of 60 frames every second, now you need to understand that these animations have certain information attributed to them, certain data. That's where the term frame data comes from, and this is going to be our primary concern for this video. So, getting off of Dolphin and getting into the thread, because that's really all the explanation you need. So let's see here. This here is my link data pack. It's the most comprehensive link resource ever assembled. Here you will find a link's data on all of his attacks, specials, grabs, throws, ledge options, rolls, and tech. And the first thing you're going to see is the attributes. We're going to ignore that for now. We're going to go over that in a separate thing. For right now, we just need to see all of this stuff. The moves, we have our hurt box. And if we scroll down, these are your hurt boxes, right? These are the little bubbles that are attached to all of Link's attacking moves. These are your hurt box. Dang it. So your hurt box is the yellow bubbles, my bad. So you see these yellow bubbles here? When the hit box overlaps with the hurt box, that's how people get hit in Melee. This is called hit detection. That's important to know. You can see that IASA means interruptible as soon as, meaning that although this animation takes 24 frames in total, you can actually interrupt the animation as early as frame 20. So you don't have to wait the entirety of the animation, you can interrupt it early, because all movements and all attacks in Melee, all this is a series of interrupting one animation with another. And that's important conceptually to understand. So when you're just standing there and you jump, you interrupted your standing animation with a jumping animation. And you interrupted your aerial animation with an aerial attack animation. Why are you always in my business? Alright, so that's interruptible as soon as. That's what that means. Auto cancel. That's only applicable to aerials, and auto cancel only applies to aerials. Link lands during an aerial animation attack. While his hurt boxes are orange, he will go into his normal 4-frame landing animation instead of his aerial landing lag. No cancel is required when auto canceling. So what that essentially means, if I scroll down to an aerial attack, we're going to use Nair as our example. So you're going to see auto cancel, and it's going to auto cancel sooner than frame 3 and after frame 32. Right, so that means there's certain frame windows prior to the animation ending where you don't have to go into your aerial landing lag. You'll just go into your normal landing, as if you just jumped, didn't throw anything out, and then landed on the ground again. And that's good, because ordinarily, when you L cancel something, you're going to be in more than 4 frames of lag. So that's important information to know, as opposed to the 7 for Nair in this example. So your hitbox IDs, this is important to know. So there's actually an order of priority. So I want you to imagine for a moment that you were to hit somebody and they're standing in between this green hitbox and this red hitbox. So the game can't apply both attributes of the attacks at the same time, meaning that it can't hit you with 0, the hitbox ID of 0 and the hitbox ID of 1 at the same time, otherwise the jab would do 10%. And if you hit him with all 4 by some chance, you would do like 20% with 1 jab. That would be ludicrous. So it says, I'm only going to pick the attributes of 1 hitbox ID. And the way it determines that is in order of priority, which I have colorized. Ordinarily it's not, but I installed a mod to better demonstrate this. So you're going to see right here, the hitbox ID of 0 is red. Now, the lower the number, the greater priority the hitbox ID has. So in this example, if I were to hit them with hitbox ID 0, which is the red one, or the hitbox ID of 1, which is the green one, the 0 attribute would out-prioritize the 1, and you would get the following attributes applied of damage and the angle and the knockback growth and the base knockback and so on and so forth. Now that doesn't sound that important when you look at something like the hitbox here, because these are all kind of the same. But when you look at something with, I don't know, a tipper hit, like over here. So you're going to see that the purple hitbox is ID 3, and that's the weakest one. It only does 9%, and that means it's going to knock down at a lot later percent, as opposed to ID 0, which is the center hit, and that does 12%. So you want the red hitbox, right? So if I were to hit somebody with the purple and the red at the same time, hitbox ID 0 will out-prioritize hitbox ID 3. So I will do 12 damage instead of 9. So that's how the game prioritizes if 2 hitboxes were to hit you at the same time, so that's how it's going to prioritize which attributes are going to be applied to the opponent. Then you have things like base knockback. This is the minimum amount of knockback an attack will do. So in Melee, when you hit somebody, obviously they're going to fly off, right? They're going to get hit, they're going to get knocked back somehow. So if they were at 0 and I were to hit somebody with something with a low base knockback, then they would only fly back a little bit. Now what knockback growth is knockback growth is the additional knockback that scales 2%. So the game goes, okay, I'm going to knock him back 10 knockback units for the sake of argument. And it runs a calculation that says, oh, he's at 20%, and the knockback growth is 60. So it adds the base knockback to the knockback growth after it calculates how much damage you already have. And it actually adds the damage first and then calculates the knockback growth. That's why moves that do more damage will also in turn do more knockback, which you can see here on dash attack like I showed earlier. Although it's going to have the same knockback growth and base knockback, just the fact that it does 12% means it's going to knock down earlier and knock people back further than 9, because it adds the damage first, then runs the knockback growth calculation, which is out of the scope of this video. We're not going to have to worry about that. Then we have set knockback, which is a special attribute that a few of Link's moves have. And that essentially means it doesn't have any knockback growth. It's just base knockback. It will always knock them back this far regardless of how much percent they have. So when you look at that, you can think of something like the most traditional examples, like Fox's Shine, for example, has set knockback. Other moves that have set knockback, things like Yoshi's down tilt, for example, or in the case of Link, his first few hits of up smash. So yeah, if you have any set knockback, this will out prioritize this. See how there's like 100% knockback growth? That doesn't matter because this is the only attribute that's important, as far as I know. I'm not the most knowledgeable person, not gonna lie. Hit lag. Hit lag is referring to the few frames in which both parties are frozen after an attack connects. This is your window for SDI, and this is when you hit an opponent with a normal move, you're both stuck in hit lag for a certain amount of time. And with projectiles, it only causes hit lag to the victim, not the attacker. Also, little known fact, crouch canceling reduces hit lag and hit stun by 1/3. So it only does 2/3 of the amount of knockback, but it also reduces hit lag. So you're actually actionable sooner than your opponent when getting hit. So it's not like shielding. It's better than shielding because then there's a shield stun calculation that's relative to how much damage the attack does. So shield stun is the frame window where the defender is inactionable after shielding an attack. This always happens after hit lag. So when you hit somebody, first it runs the hit lag and then it runs shield stun. That's important information. And then shield advantage is how soon you are actionable relative to the opponent after attacking their shield. So for the example of shield advantage, we're going to use jab. So jab is interruptible frame 20, right? So if I were to hit somebody and it only does 4 frames of shield stun and then I can't move until frame 20, that means the person who I hit and they're in shield is actionable 9 frames prior to when I can move or interrupt to my attack. And that's kind of the standard for grounded moves. Grounded moves are more often than not negative on shield. Some of them are really good on shield, like having single digit numbers is actually pretty rare as far as grounded moves go, because the majority of them is like -10, -11. But in the case of something like Link's second jab, which is -7 on shield, that's actually phenomenal for like an on-shield move. Other moves that are normally good, other grounded moves that are normally good on shield are things like Shine. You know, things that are interruptible really early. But normally when you use grounded moves on people's shield, you're going to use the moves with lots of range, lots of disjoint. That keeps you safe from out-of-shield options. So you think of things like Samus's F-tilt, for example. But some moves are absurdly good on shield, like the shield advantage for up smash for Link because it's interruptible as soon as like the attack ends. You can see here this does 6 frames of shield stun on the 3rd hit and is interruptible frame 43, which kind of makes it only punishable frames. It's -4 on shield. That's really good. So that's shield advantage. And that changes for aerials because for aerials you hit somebody's shield, then you go into your landing lag. So if my aerial does 6 frames of shield stun and then I land immediately after I hit their shield, in that situation, if my aerial has 7 frames of landing lag, that would make it -1 on shield, meaning that we're actionable on roughly the same time. And we're going to go over all that again. Now we have character attributes, and that's where things get a little bit tricky. Because a lot of people, they know their basic frame data, but they don't really understand how all these attributes come together. So we're going to be talking about all that right now. And there's actually a wiki page that compiles all of the information for attributes, and I'm just going to go over a brief explanation. Because a lot of people gloss over this, they intuitively understand it, but they don't really have like a concrete fundamental understanding of these things. So air acceleration, that's pretty self-explanatory. It's basically the rate in which characters can change their horizontal velocity in midair. You know, moving left to right, right? Not the maximum speed, just how quickly they can move from left to right. It's kind of akin to, air acceleration is aerial combat, blah, blah, blah. It's basically akin to like something like traction. You can see here Jigglypuff, Fox, Falco, they probably have the best. Link's pretty high. pretty high actually. Link has really good aerial mobility. So this is basically your ability to change direction in the air. For some characters, they don't need it though. For like double jump cancel characters, they can do it immediately. Like Yoshi, for example, doesn't have the best aerial acceleration, but because he's a double jump cancel character, can turn on a dime midair. Air dodge, you dodge in the air. Come on. That is pretty much the same throughout the entire cast, except for the Mario Brothers for whatever reason. Not really known that. Oh, look at Bowser, frame 3. No shit. Okay. Air friction, basically how long it takes you to stop in the air, and this is irrelevant for the most part because you need to like reset your stick to neutral. But if you actually influence your character's aerial drift using aerial acceleration, that's really the primary determining factor. Airspeed is your maximum airspeed in the air, so how fast you can go in the air at any given time. So some characters have really good ground speed and really shitty airspeed. An example of that, Luigi, his wave dash will be zooming on the ground, and as soon as he jumps, he loses all that momentum. It kind of sucks. It'd be awesome if you could carry that. Ganondorf, another great example. He could do like wave lands off side platforms, and you ever notice he just moves like a rocket and then stops immediately as he becomes airborne. Kirby's an unfortunate case because if he had aerial mobility, he'd probably be like Jigglypuff, schmoving and grooving. Again, Link running at the top of the pack with his aerial mobility. Donkey Kong is an interesting case because Donkey Kong has has high max airspeed, but no ability to turn around. So when he's moving in one direction, he's got a set course. He's kind of stuck on his jump arc. He can't fade back like a lot of the cast can. Dash gets complicated. We'll come back to that. Dash is his own little thing. Double jump, you jump while you're in the air. I don't know, not even going to click on that. Fall speed. All right, this is kind of important to know. So this is your character's base fall speed, right? But there's different attributes. There's fall speed, there's gravity, and then there's your fast fall speed. But for all intents and purposes, you see floaty characters like Marth. Marth actually has one of the best fall speeds in the game. Even higher than someone you would consider like a fast fall, like Link or Sheik. Sheik's considered a fast faller, but there's a reason for that. Also, you see that Falco falls faster, has a higher maximum fall speed than like Fox and Falcon, which is really weird because, you know, they're not. Gravity is the other important part. There's fall speed and then there's gravity. Those are the two things that go together. So now we got fast fall. Here we got a much different story. You're going to see that young Link, although having a really high fall speed, normally his fast fall's abysmal, right? Same thing with Marth. Some of you generally consider a floaty, although has good normal fall speed. His fast fall kind of runs in the middle of the pack. And you can see the speed increase here. Someone like Link increases like a 40% margin. He's probably the highest outside of like floaties like Samus or Mewtwo. But as for like normal falling characters, Link and Sheik have the greatest increase. Theirs is actually the same. They have the same fall attributes. So yeah, this is your maximum fall speed, right? And you see Falco running at the head of the pack. But you're going to notice something interesting when we get to gravity. What the hell is fighter ability? Okay, this is some ultimate shit. Okay, so gravity is essentially fall acceleration. This is a giant definition, but all you need to know is how soon this character just starts, like how quickly they can reach their peak fall. And you're going to see here that Fox, by a large margin, has the highest fall acceleration. And then you got characters like Sheik, super high fall acceleration. And characters like Link, super high fall acceleration, right? But then Marth down here, very, very low fall acceleration. That means they stay at the apex of their jumps a lot longer than other characters. Instead of going straight up and down like a Spacey would, they kind of like to hover in there. And you see that's the primary attribute of characters we think is as floaty, right? So all these characters, these are all floatier characters, right? And then suddenly you get to the less floaty characters. I would consider young Link a floaty. Just no fall acceleration. I mean, no fast fall. He's pretty floaty. Can't get around. He doesn't have good vertical. That's a problem. Jump. You jump. We'll go over that. There's a jump squat, and then there's the jump. Jump squat's an important animation, and really understand. Rolling, you roll. You hold shield, you roll. You can buffer rolls with C-stick, and that takes like 1 additional frame. Spot dodge, you know what that is. Traction. This is something to go over. This essentially is the primary dictating factor of how long your wave dash is, right? Basically, anyone with a wave dash like this, these people, these are the worst wave dashes in the game. Not really a whole lot you can do about it. These characters, everything past this is a serviceable wave dash length. Like from Roy all the way down to Donkey Kong, all these wave dashes are fine. It's only these ones that are actually abysmal. As you can see, Link is tied up here with Peach, Zelda, Pichu, Puff. All these characters have like horrible wave dashes. I would say Jigglypuff's is the best of the bunch, just because of the crouch factor that she gets out of it. But I don't want to praise Jigglypuff too much. I don't think anyone wants to. You got your walk. Not really all that important. You just walk. You can do any standing animation out of walk. So if you want to do like a walk one way, turn around, F smash, you can do that. You can interrupt walk with pretty much any move. Weight is essentially knockback resistance. So a lot of people talk about, oh, this character's heavy, right? But heavy not in the terms of they fall quickly, because you know that fall speed and gravity and fast fall speed, all those are completely different. Weight is just knockback resistance, and that means if this character's heavier, they're going to take a lot less knockback than the others. And there's a lot of things that are dependent on knockback. So how long you can crouch cancel, when you get knocked down, how far you get sent by moves. All of those things are dictated by your character's weight. You can see in the NTSC version, Link and Captain Falcon were real heavy boys, right? The average weight is like right here. So Marth and Ice Climbers are the average weight. Most of the cast is actually pretty light, though. These are like the lighter characters. These are the heavy boys. Giga Bowser's needs to lay off the donuts. And those are basically what all of your attributes and how they're applicable in the game. And if you're more interested in movement stuff, oh, we didn't go over dash. Dash gets complicated. All right, we're going to go over dash, and then we're going to get into other frame data. But this is probably the most important information you're going to need to know for moving around, because once you're able to break this down incrementally, you're really going to come together with your movement. So starting with your initial dash, this is your initial dash acceleration. It's not that it's kind of important, but not particularly. Then you have your run speed. This is your maximum run speed, how quickly your character moves when they get moving. Basically, this whole bunch right here, actually, you know, you can lump in like all these characters into the same group of being slow as shit. Like from Samus all the way down to Zelda, all these characters' dashes are just not good. Samus's is the standout because her initial dash speed is actually pretty good, but then it fizzles out quickly, and the dash animation is probably the worst in the game. So let's go to dash. Let's go to dash frames, and I'll explain this. So you can see in this case, Link has 12 frames of a dash animation, and this means how long I can dash before my dash turns into run. And I'll go over that right now. Kaplow, we're going to go back over to the game. So if you look at the top, those numbers that are rapidly shooting off at the top of my screen, those are just the number frame your animation is on. So you're going to see if Link dashes all the way up to frame 12, you're going to say that this is in the dash animation right here, and it is frame 12 of my dash animation. And if I were to hold the control stick forward past this point, I will enter my run animation. So you would think, okay, that's kind of important to know, because dash, you can interrupt your dash animation with another dash, and that's how dash dancing works. Alright, but it gets a little complicated, because in this case, if I were to release the stick to neutral, instead of going into my run animation, I'm going to stay in my dash animation. See that? And then on frame 20, if I hold forward, I'm going to go back in my dash animation. So you can interrupt your dash forward with the dash forward, and you're like, oh, why is that? Well, it's because between frames 13, on frame 13 and frame 19 here, there's a little, the game reads, okay, between frames 13 and 19, if you hold that control stick forward on your, if you hold that control stick forward on your dash animation, you're going to go into run. But because dash is actually a 30 frame animation, right here, if you release the stick to neutral between frames 13 and 19, then you can stay in your dash animation. And that's how you get an extended dash dance, right? So you're not limited to just your dash frames like this document tells you. I really wish that they would introduce the total dash animation, but luckily there's a resource for that. That's what I'm going to show you in a minute. But for all intents and purposes, you need to know that your dash frames are just the number of frames prior to when dash turns into run, but there are ways to circumvent that, so it's really not that important. Unless you play a character with really, really shitty dash animations. So characters like Mario, Dr. Mario. Here, I'll show you. Yeah, characters like the Mario Brothers, Mario, Dr. Mario, Game & Watch, Samus, Sheik. I think Sheik is the primary example that people like to go to for really shitty dash animations. Like they turn in, it goes from dash to run like almost immediately. It's absurd. Characters who are notably really, really good, Marth, 15 frames. Captain Falcon, 15 frames. Pikachu's other notable one. I think those are all the important ones. Oh yeah, Ganondorf, because Ganondorf and Captain Falcon share it, and Peach. Zelda too, evidently, but you know, these characters aren't really that important because their dash animation sucks anyway. Then you got your base acceleration and your additional acceleration. They're not important, not gonna lie. They're like, you can see like Link and Peach literally have the same ground movement minus these two attributes, which are irrelevant for the most part, because you're always going to be wanting to like pseudo foxtrot. We're going to go over that. If you're more interested in ground movement information, here we have the Ultimate Ground Movement Analysis Turbo Edition created by the legendary Shmoo. And if you're interested in other things, he also created the I Need Data website that has the data calculator. So, you know, this guy actually knows this stuff real hardcore. See that? And he also created like heat maps and stuff. And this is all this outside of the scope of the video. But if you want more rating material, I'm going to link this in the description. Hopefully we'll get something out of it. Well, let's go to link. Kaplow. You can see like foxtrot, diagonal notches, the maximum distance. These are melee meters. This is the game's metric in which it measures distance. Alright, well, back to the Link data pack. So, attributes, Link has a weight. Weight means knockback resistance, the 7th best in the game, and he's a fat boy. Walk speed, this is the speed in which he walks. Pretty fast. He's a fast walker. He's a speed walker. Run speed, bad. Real bad. Airspeed, real good. Good maximum airspeed. Air acceleration, how quickly you can get to that peak and how quickly you can turn around. Real good. Really good, actually. But most characters have good air speed. Fall speed, you know, average. Fast faller, a little bit. Fast fall speed, right behind Captain Falcon, 4th best in the game. Really fast fall. Big stark difference between his normal fall speed and his fast fall speed. That's really good for timing mix-ups. We have things like his gravity, which is his fall acceleration. Average fall acceleration, which is actually good because you don't want to fall too fast, otherwise you're combo fodder. Which Link is not, despite popular opinion, unless you play Sheik or Captain Falcon. Traction, although that says he's number 1 for traction, that's actually a horrible thing to be because it makes his wave dash itty bitty bitty. Jump squat, 6 frames. So yeah, let's go over jump squat here for a minute. We're gonna open back the game. So when I input a jump, you're going to see that Link is going to go into this animation called knee bend. And when you bend your knees, just like how you normally jump, you have this little wind up first before you actually leave the ground. Otherwise, you'll just kind of, that'd be weird. You know, you got to crouch down and, you know, get a little coil going, right? So in this case, Link jumps on frame 7. He is aerial on frame 7. That means he has a 6-frame jump squat. And that's really bad. Because the longer your jump squat is, the longer it takes for you to get off the ground into the air. And that's really bad for shoving out instant aerials. Now, comparatively speaking, the majority of the cast has about 4 to 5 frames. That's the average. 3 frames is absurdly good. 6 frames is below average. Anything more than that, and the character's really bad. So if we go to attributes here, jump. Okay, you can see the character's jump squats. So 3 frames here, and then all these guys got 4 frames, and then 5 frames. So between 4 and 5 frames is about like where you want to be. And then you have the 6-frame boys, which is kind of bad, but there's only like 2 characters with that, 3 characters, and then there's Bowser. Bowser's a very sad character, but for all intents and purposes, these are the 3 that you need to be concerned with. This is you right here. You're not good. This is a bad jump squat. 5 frames is serviceable. 4 frames is ideal. 3 frames is really, really good. But only like 3 top tiers have this. Fox. Wow, Fox and Cheek are the only top tiers that have a 3-frame jump squat. Oh yeah, I guess if you want to count Ice Gunners without wobbling, I don't. I think Ices are bad. So there's your jump squat, and the jump squat's a really important animation because it's interruptible with a lot of different junk. So remember I said melee is comprised of interrupting certain animations with others. Well, in the case of jump squat, see, you can interrupt it with like an up smash, and most importantly a grab, and also an item throw. Those are the 3 most important things with Link. Also, an up special. And the reason those are important is because you can get the standing animation as opposed to the running animation of things. So instead of getting a dash grab, you can get a standing grab. Oh, you can get a standing grab, or a jump canceled grab, for instance. So that's the importance of understanding like what animations are interruptible with other animations, because you can't just interrupt one thing with anything you feel like. There's a bunch of small caveats that you need to be cognizant of, otherwise you're not going to be able to do all the things that you want to do as fluently as you want to. So lots of study. Damn, this video is turning out a lot longer. Every time I make these, I anticipate them not being as dense with information, but I just always get ahead of myself. Short hop airtime. How long you're in the air after a short hop? Full hop airtime. I just put these in there because they help me do my calculations to figure out what's possible, what's not. Not really all that important for you to know. Short hop fast fall airtime. 20 frames. Really good. Thank you for my fall acceleration. Same thing with full hop airtime. Early short hop fast fall, you can fast fall as early as frame 14, and you can actually buffer that input by holding down 3 frames prior. So there's I believe it's a 3 or 4 frame buffer window. Let's go over that. SSBM buffer. Yeah, you can find some really good shit. Wow. I know there's a resource for what you can and can't buffer in Melee. What the hell is buffering? Oh, well, I'll pull that. I'll link that in the description. We can go over that later. But there's a bunch of different animations you can buffer in Melee. So things like the C-Stick. You can, if you use the C-Stick and shield, you can buffer spot dodges and rolls. And what buffering essentially is basically you don't have to time it anymore. The game will remember your last input and play it on the soonest possible frame. So you don't need to time things particularly too well. Or in the case of Melee, there's buffer frame windows. So take for example the fast fall. I'm in my short hop, and although I can't fast fall until frame 14, because the only time you can fast fall is when you have negative velocity, negative vertical velocity. So although I'm still traveling upwards in this instance on frame 12, if I were to input down on the C stick, I mean down on the control stick, which isn't going to do anything, it will remember that I've held down in the last 3 frames, and it will automatically let me fast fall anyway. So that's pretty cool. All right. And then we got some statistics. We have your dash becomes run on frame 12, can foxtrot in frame 20. Total dash animation is 30 frames. We went over that. Dash acceleration is 1.3, which is the 23rd worst in the game. Tilt turn length. So in Melee, sometimes you have to turn around, and that takes 11 frames. Now, that's important to know, because if you were to smash the control stick in the opposite direction and reach a certain vector on the control stick, that's not important. Just smash it on frame 1 as hard as you can, and you will turn around immediately. So you get to avoid your dash turn. I mean, you get to avoid your tilt turn or the turnaround animation and just go straight into dash, which is super cool. And that's important to know because you can't do things out of turning, and that sucks. So if I were to turn around and then input anything between frames 1 and 6 on my turn, I will face in the wrong direction. Alright, so if I wanted to do a turnaround jump. Alright, see? On frame 6, and then I jump. I'm not turned around. I'm still facing the same direction I was, and that's happened for 6 frames. It's bullshit. And then on frame 7 of my turnaround, and I jump, boom, knee bend. It's fucking infuriating. It's actually a terrible design choice. But if I were to dash turn and then jump, boom. Boom, immediate. It's beautiful. And there's certain things, these effects, that I have listed. So you can see right here, dash, shield, and movement out of tilt turn on frame 7. But there are certain things it doesn't affect, like doing attacks. So if I were to do a turnaround jab, no problem. Turnaround grab, no problem. So I could walk in one direction, then buffer a turnaround, and then I get a grab. No problem, right? Or, because you can buffer a turnaround. Like if I were to do a forward air, well here, I'll just show you. I'll spot dodge and then I'll hold back. And you're going to see that Link will automatically turn around at the soonest possible frame. And then if I were to input grab, it would happen immediately. And that's another instance of buffering in Melee. Because a lot of people operating under the pretense that there's no buffering in Melee. This is actually not true. It's just a fundamentally more conservative buffering system that's only applicable to particular actions in Melee. So things like fast fall, shielding. You can buffer double jump with tap jump. A lot of people don't know that. That's deserving of its own video, because if I don't find the resource, I don't want to have like something not comprehensive. Then you got your wave dash, which takes a total of 16 frames, which means you add your jump squat, and then when you air dodge into the ground, you're in landing fall special, and that takes 10 frames. So 6 frames of jump squat, 10 frames of landing lag, 16 frames in total to complete. And then you got your ledge grab, which should take 3 frames, or technically 4. And there's a problem with this, because you can't fall off ledge on the earliest possible frame. See right here? So if I were to input, so this is frame 3 of the animation. After this, it should be over. And I go to cliff weight, right? But you actually can't fall on the earliest possible frame. You can't drop ledge on frame 4 of grabbing the ledge. See? I'm holding down, but it won't let me. But it'll let you do other things, like roll. And it'll let you do other things frame perfect, like jump. But you know what it won't let you do? It won't let you drop from ledge. You have to wait an additional frame to do that. So there's your cliff catch animation. Whenever you grab ledge, All right, let's go over these. Let's go over these bubbles. So you know how the yellow bubbles are your hitboxes, right? Well, when a hitbox overlaps with your hurt box, you're going to get hit. But there are times where you can't get hit, and we'll go over that right now. So when you see Link grabs the ledge here, he's going to turn blue. And this state is a state called being intangible. And that essentially means your character has the property of a ghost. Where instead of the hitboxes colliding with your hurt boxes and you take damage, the attack will go straight through you. Pretty neato. But there's another state that's similar to this called being invincible. We'll go over that in a minute. But let's go over like when you air dodge, you're intangible. When you spot dodge, you're intangible. When you roll, you're intangible. That's why moves can't hit you in those certain states. But there's other states called being invincible, where Link is green. Now, green. This is basically the same as being intangible, meaning you can't take damage and you won't have any knockback, but the difference is that you will get hit. It just won't do anything because you're invincible. So think of intangible as being a ghost, and think of being invincible as being fucking Superman, where you're still the tangible fucking thing. It's just, you won't. It's like punching a brick wall. You're not going to get a whole lot done doing that. So those are your different, those are the different states of your hurt boxes. Boop, 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 boop. And you're going to see there's other bubbles too, like shielding bubbles. And then your power shield bubble, which is, you see this ring out here. And then you have this inner ring right here. Ignore this big red splotch in the center. There's just two rings, the hexagonal looking ones. Yeah, this one right here. This green one on the inside, this is your power shield bubble. And this one on the outside is your normal shield bubble. See power shield, normal shield. Power shield, normal shield. Power shield, normal shield. Okay. So there are different bubbles with other different attributes that you should be cognizant of, but I won't go over that mechanic right now unless I feel like it. Maybe at the end. Now, with all of that out of the way, let's get into finally Link data. Christ. Alright, so Link's jab. It takes a total of 24 frames. It hits frames 6 through 8, meaning that the move is active from 6 to 8. When people say that, oh, my move is active between here and here, that means that's when it can actually hit somebody, okay? It is interruptible as soon as frame 20. So although the animation ends on frame 24, you don't have to wait those extra 4 frames. You can interrupt at frame 20, no problem. Jab 2 advantage. So sometimes you can interrupt it super duper early with a move that links into itself. So for the example of jab, you can mash jab and get jab 2, which is the subsequent animation after jab 1. Alright, jab 2 window is between frame 3 and 25, meaning if I were to hit the A button again between frames 3 and 25, then jab 2 would be buffered automatically. See another example of buffering in Melee. And then jab 2 starts on frame 10, regardless. So even if I were to hit jab, if I were to input jab 2 on frame 3 of jab 1, it's still not going to start. It can only start as early as frame 10 and as late as frame whatever. 25 evidently, or as late as frame 24. Window for rapid stab is 3 and 24, and that's when you just mash the shit out of the fucking A button. Alright, jab 2. Hit a total of 22 frames, hits frames 7 through 8, meaning it hits a little later, and it's interruptible on frame 18. That's what makes it have a lot more advantage on shield, because it hits later, and it's interruptible sooner, and that's good. It's a good thing. It does a jab window for jab 3 is 3 through 25, and that's when you hold the button down. That's how you get jab 3. And you can see there's a different variant. So you could get a solid front jab, or alternatively, you could get the rapid jab. And that's from, one is hitting the button like I think 2 times within this frame window. And this is just hitting the button once within the frame window. Now let's go over what all these hitbox IDs mean. So we went over hitbox, obviously the IDs. We went over damage. Alright, so this hitbox ID 0, which is color coded, is going to do 5%. This is a Sakurai angle. Man, there's so much more to go over. Alright, let's talk about Sakurai angles then. So a Sakurai angle is basically just sends you up and away. But if you're below a certain threshold, it will act as a semi-spike. So if the attack doesn't do enough knockback, you'll be sent at a semi-spike angle. But if it does exceed a certain amount of knockback, you'll be sent at this angle. And that's what these lines are. These are the indication of the angle the move sends you. Now, that's important to know because when you crouch cancel or ASDI down something, you cannot crouch cancel or ASDI down a move that sends you straight horizontal or lower. But you can CC and ASDI down an attack that sends you upwards or even at a slight upwards angle. So that's... damn. There's a lot to go over, man. We went over knockback growth, which is the additional amount of knockback, the base knockback, the set knockback, hit lag, which is basically the freeze frames, as they called it in Brawl and every subsequent title. Shield stun is the additional stun attributed to a shield after you hit it, and it's based on the amount of damage the move does. Shield advantage, how soon you're able to act out of the out of hitting somebody's shield. And then the size, of course, is just how big the hitbox is. So we went over all that, and let's talk about some interesting stuff here. Rapid stab. Rapid stabs, these are all spikes, by the way. That's pretty weird. So you can see the angle. If we go to the angle, they're all 0. It means it's straight horizontal. That's what a semi-spike is. Okie dokie. So now we got dash attack, and you can notice something is that the hitbox ID 0 has always been at the tip for the last few moves we've looked at, but that's not always the case. Sometimes the hitbox with the most priority isn't the hitbox that's on the tip. You can see that pretty clearly here, where we have the hitbox with the least priority, hitbox ID 3 at the tip, and then the one with the most priority being the second one. And then you got these two in the middle being the shitty ones. You're also going to notice that on these ones, all of the hitbox information, all the attributes, they're kind of the same, right? But on this one, they're all completely different. This one does 12 damage and different angle, different angle, different angle, different angle. This one sends them like straight up, and this one's the one at the very base of the attack sends them up and away. Something to be cognizant of. Also, you're going to see here the difference between shield stun, because this one does 12 frames. I mean, this one does 12%. It does one more frame of shield stun, and as a result, it has better shield advantage. So yeah, that's how dash attack works. It's pretty cool. Ideally, you're going to hit everybody with this hitbox right here. Sometimes they get clipped with the weak hit. That's not ideal unless you're trying to set up for something like dash attack down air on fast fallers at like a high percent. Alright, moving on, we got forward tilt. Forward tilt's pretty weird because it has two sets of hitboxes where the angles change. So on the initial hit of forward tilt, you're going to see right here, it actually is a reverse hit at the beginning and then transitions into a forward facing hit. And some moves do that. So in Melee, there's reverse hits, and then there's true reverse hitboxes. And what I mean by that is something like, what's a good example? Something like, something like forward air. Let's find our forward air. Nope, we went way too far. Alright, yeah, okay, let's look at up air. Up air, for example, if I were to hit with the front hit of the hitbox, they would be sent to the front and forward. But if I hit them with the back, they would be sent up and back. That's pretty interesting, because that's how reverse hitboxes work. Now, some moves, instead of having reverse hitbox, instead of the hitbox reversing, the angle is actually completely fucking different. So you see in this instance on F tilt, where'd that go? The beginning of the animation sends people in a completely different angle than near the middle and end of the animation. F-tilt's pretty bad though. F-tilt in total takes 39 frames. It hits on frames 16 through 29 and it is not interruptible, making it kind of dog shit because it doesn't do all that much knockback. It has abysmal base knockback and it doesn't even do that much percent. So why would I ever throw this move out? It doesn't even cover that much either. It's like it's bad. Link's up tilt, the saving grace of the character, hits on frame 9 through 15, hits in front of him and behind him, makes him crouch down low profile, huge priority, and takes a total of 29 frames, so it's pretty quick too. And the best part I think about up tilts, in my opinion, is the fact that the tipper hitbox here with the highest priority has a difference, hits different than the base hitboxes. And you're also going to notice that it's hard to DI for because the initial hit, the first hit, you're actually more likely to get hit with the hitboxes that send forward. But if I hit you a little bit later, you're more likely to get hit by the slower hitbox here. That kind of becomes the tipper hitbox later because that will send you behind. So it's pretty hard to DI for. It hits fast, it hits hard, it combos into itself, it combos into all of Link's combo moves. Up tilt's just a great tool. And the back hitbox is actually pretty good on shield. -9 for a grounded move is not bad at all. Got Link down tilt, and here's another example of angles being different. So you're going to see that everything's basically the same here, except for the fact that the tipper hitbox, or the hitbox with the highest ID, the most priority, sends people upwards, as opposed to the rest of these where the angle is all downwards. So this move hits on frame 14, it takes 39 frames and it's interruptible frame 22, which makes it -10 on shield, which is not a bad move on shield. Most of Link's moves are pretty good on shield. The only problem here is that these angles are so steep they fall within the meteor threshold, and if I remember correctly, meteor hits, if the angle is between like 270 and steeper, then it will count as a meteor. Alright, so yeah, here's an example of it. So in Super Smash Bros. Melee, this is the meteor threshold right here. And characters with usable spikes with something like Captain Falcon, and you're going to see the spike area. Here, let's see. In melee hitboxes and the opponents between 160 and 180 degrees are recognized by the game as a meteor smash. But angles that send at a less steep angle, a more shallow angle, like if it was 255, count as a true spike. And characters with that, think of things like Fox's Shine, Mars Down Air, Falco Down Air, for example. All those are spikes, and everything steeper than that is a meteor. So these are meteor hitboxes with an angle of 280. But if they were like 250, it wouldn't be. It'd be a spike, and that'd be amazing. Up smash here. Up smash is a triple hit move. You're going to see 1, 2, 3 hits on frame 11, 26, and 41. Has a total of 60. Is interruptible frame 52, and charges on frame 4. Smash attacks are different than other animations because you can actually stall the animation by charging it. So it'll start up on a charge frame and then let it rip afterwards. The thing about Link's up smash is that charging it, because of the base knockback, when you charge a move and it has set knockback, charging it won't affect any move with set knockback, but will affect the third hit. So that's pretty uncommon to actually have a smash attack with set knockback, but Link's pretty weirdo. Pretty big weirdo. So you got up smash right here, and the biggest thing you're going to notice is that it's ginormous, but it has a lot of holes in the pressure. Like, look at all that black space. Hit 1, black, 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 2, black, 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 3. It's just not good. What it is good at is platform pressure, because it does a fuck ton of shield stun every time you hit them, and it shield pokes like at an ungodly rate. It's so good at that. And the shield advantage is absolutely absurd on the final hit, and if you charge it, it's even better. We got other weird animations like forward smash. Now, forward smash is a special move. For one, the tipper hit is the worst hit. That's always what I like to see, right? And that's not why it's special. It's because it's actually a 2-hit window. So there's a second hit. So if you were to hit the A button as soon as possible, as between frames, whatever. If you were to hit it on frame 19 and onwards, you're actually going to start the second hit. 19 is actually pretty good because that makes it like +5 when the second hit comes out. And this does a lot of damage, like a lot of damage, because you're going to add 13 plus 20. You seriously just did like 30%. It's really, really bad when you get hit by this attack. And it's got great range. The only problem is it's got horrible startup, and Link leans his whole body forward, so you have to space pretty far away not to get clipped. It's a hard move to space ordinarily. But a lot of people aren't ready for how far Link lunges forward. Like, this is his starting point back here, and this is how far the dude leaned forward. Look at that, boom. And then second hit, he lunges forward again, like crazy. So this move has crazy range. Then you have down smash, another multi-hit move. This is one of your bread and butter moves. It takes 39 frames in total, but is interruptible on frame 42. It hits frame 9 in front and 21 in back. It has a charge frame on frame 4, as opposed to like frame 10 here in F Smash's case. Cool thing about this move is that it's really good for tech chasing, because if you time it between a certain frame window, you can actually cover tech in place, mistech, and tech roll behind on characters with short tech rolls, all with the same timing. So you really only need to learn one timing, and if the player's completely random, you'll still cover all of their tech options 75% of the time. So it's really good for tech chasing, really good for making reads, hard plays. It's also really good for catching people who like to roll behind you. A lot of Falcos, they like to roll. So it's like, oh, he touched my shield, I have to roll behind Shine. You know, down smash will just obliterate those guys. It's also not too shabby on shield for the second hit if you hit him. With the second hit, it's like -12. Another thing you'll notice is that if you tipper it, it's safe from shield grabs. A lot of people like to shield grab it, but by the time they're actionable, Link has already started the second hit, and you'll notice that he leans his whole body really far back. So shield grabbing this move's not really that prevalent unless you wait for him to actually stand straight up again. Yeah, so this is one of your bread and butter moves. Let's go to, we got into aerials, sick. Oh, and it does a lot of percent. You're gonna notice here, this is something interesting, is that the base hits are actually a lot stronger than the tipper hit. So oftentimes when you like up throw, down smash space animals, you're going to knock them down a lot earlier than what the tipper hit might make you think. So this has a sweet spot. Neutral air, we're gonna go over neutral air now. So this is where aerials get a little bit more complicated. You're gonna notice on the Zero ID hitbox, it's on his knee actually, and it's a reverse hit for the majority of the move. Yeah, it's a true reverse hitbox. And then Nair actually switches into a reverse hitbox for like a frame. It's weird. But yeah, the hitbox ID 1 is actually the strong hit, and that's the tipper hit on the foot. That's the one you want to aim for the strong hit. But this is kind of weird because aerials go from strong hits to weak hits depending on what time you hit them. So if you hit them with the initial start of the animation, which in this case is frames 4 through 5, because it's active on frame 4 through 39. But on frames 4 and 5 are the first two strong hits, where the hitboxes are larger, they do more damage and more knockback, and they have better shield advantage as well. But if frames 6 through 39, the animation does less damage, less knockback, and are smaller. So overall, the base hit is actually better than the weak hit. The moves for aerials are a little weird because they don't actually have like end lag necessarily. They do, but if you land, you can interrupt the animation with the aerial landing animation, and that takes normally 15 frames or so. It depends on the animation, but for Link, 15 seems to be the average, right? Which is pretty good, actually. The only difference here is that when you L cancel, you double the speed the animation is played, essentially halving the time you need to spend at that animation. So if you consistently L cancel every time, instead of having to spend 15 frames on the ground, you're only going to spend 7 in landing lag. That's why when you calculate shield advantage, you take shield stun minus landing lag equals shield advantage. That's how you do that calculation. It's pretty simple. Cat. Cat. You will burn in the fires. Alright. Wow. Fucked up my whole rig. Okay. Yep, so that's Nair. Nair's pretty weird because Nair was coded wrong. So you see that the animation takes 39 frames in total, but it hits frames 4 through 39, meaning that this is one of the only moves in the game that is actionable for the entirety of the animation. As soon as it starts, it does not have an end lag. It does not have a vulnerable part of the move. It's interruptible on frame 36, making it one of the only moves in the game that is interruptible while active, and auto cancels as early as frame 32, which is like 7 frames prior to the move ending. So it's auto cancelable while the move is active. So what you probably noticed is that, wait, if this move is actionable while you can auto cancel it, that means you could have theoretically hit somebody with 4 frames of landing lag. And you're right. So if we take the 7, so if we look down here and see, oh, this does 5 frames of shield stun, and you would only have 4 frames of landing lag auto canceled, realistically an auto canceled Nair could be as good as +1 on shield. And you'd be right, which is pretty cool. And you'd think that's an unrealistic thing to set up, but if you actually consider how fast Link falls, you could actually input a Nair rising and then fast fall at the apex of his full hop and hit somebody's shield, land immediately, and you will be +1 on their shield, which is really, really good. And that's why a lot of Links like to spam the full hop Nair, because also it covers his booty buns really well. Another example, this move does not have a strong hit and weak hit as a first hit and second hit, and it's one of the weird aerials. Second hit kind of useless. First hit really good. Shield advantage 0 on shield. Always like to see it. Those aerials are your best approach options. This one's really cool because the sword. I don't think we talked about disjoint yet, so let's talk about disjoint. Disjoint is essentially the distance between your character's hurt box and your character's hitbox, this area of space. And having a lot of disjoint is really good because that makes the move have a lot of priority, meaning that it can beat out a lot of other moves. And the fact that Link has a sword means that there's going to be a lot of disjoint on a lot of his sword moves. So Link has really good priority on the vast majority of his attacks. And to have a lot of disjoint on aerials is especially good. So something like Fair, where he gets a sword involved, that's especially good because aerials do not clank. So when 2 grounded moves hit each other, you're going to notice that if they're around, they do the same amount of damage, they're going to cancel each other out. Well, with aerials, when 2 aerials collide, they're going to do something called trading, where if you were to both nair each other, you would both get hit, as opposed to the moves clanking where no one takes any damage. And someone's probably going to be actionable before the other, depending on how much % they do, but that's not important. You can look up clank mechanics on your own. But having good priority on aerials is especially good because they don't trade. And they don't collide with grounded moves. They do, however, hit special moves, so something like Samus's missiles, something with a hurt box, it'll collide with those. So you could think like Sheik Needles, Samus missiles, Link boomerang. Those things you can aerial and they would get hit, but they have to have a hurt box. Then you got Link's up air, another example of a move with crazy priority, crazy disjoint. This move is incredibly good. Like, look at that. This is where Link's hurt box is. This is where the hitbox is. That beats almost everything like coming down, except for like a frame perfect Falcon Stomp, or like a Luigi down air because Luigi winds his legs up when he does it. But aside from that, that's all timing mix-ups that you can't reliably do. This is another example of a move with strong hit and weak hit depending on what part of the animation you hit. Luckily, the hitbox sizes don't change. It's just a question of how much damage it does. 16% for the strong hit. You land 3 of these, that's a 45% combo. Alright, up air is godlike. The only problem is that Link's jump squat sucks. But doing like, it comes out frame 5, it comes out lightning fast. Alright, it's active forever. The only drawback to this move is that it L canceling. It's 15 frames of landing lag. So that kind of kills the vibe of it, but it's still god tier move. It's your bread and butter. It's everything you've ever wanted it to be and more. It's not the best shield advantage, but that's fine. Yeah, but up air really, 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 really good. The late hit sets up for, it doesn't send people as far because like I said, damage is calculated. Damage is added first and then knockback is calculated. So you could hit people, although these have like the same knockback values, damage is different. So you could hit people with like the weak hit of up air and that will combo into down air on spacies, or you could extend combos against floaties, which is something you see me do a lot against Marth. But against characters with faster fall acceleration or more gravity and higher weight, someone like Sheik, I want to hit him with the strong hit multiple times before extending my combos with weak hit, up air into nairs, something along those lines. You're going to notice that this move is interruptible as early as frame 60, which never comes into play because it's active for 50 frames and you're going to land by then. And it's auto-cancelable as early as frame 59, making the auto-cancel worthless as well. I don't even know why these two things are 56, sorry. Anyway, it's just trash. You're going to L-cancel this 100% of the time. Landing lag, 30 frames, L-cancelable, 15 frames. That's all you need to know. Back air. Okay, back air again is a weird one. Back air, the first hit is a reverse hit. The second hit does not reverse. Okay, it's kind of weird, but whatever. And that's only applicable for the first hit ID 2. Back air, it hits on. It takes a total of 39 frames. It hits on frame 6 and 18. It's interruptible frame 30 and auto cancels frame 29 onwards. This move's pretty weird because if you noticed, it's interruptible as soon as frame 30. And you might also put the pieces together that Link, his short hop, actually takes 32 frames, meaning that there is a 2-frame window to input a double jump. Also, moves that are interruptible, you can't air dodge out of them. Fun fact, you have to double jump air dodge. That's pretty neato, but that means you can short hop back air, double jump back air, and then nair prior to hitting the ground. I'll demonstrate that right now. There's a lot of really cool bear mechanics. So, let's start the game. So you think this is really hard because there's a 2-frame double jump window, right? But actually, if you remember how earlier I said you could buffer certain inputs, like double jump. So if you use tap jump, this 2-frame window suddenly becomes a 5-frame window. 5 to 6-frame window because there's a gravity quirk. I guess I'll talk about, yeah, why not? So there's a gravity quirk in Melee. So you're going to see, if I do this aerial on the first aerial frame, Link is going to land on frame 30. But if I were to do this on the second aerial frame, Link is going to land on frame 31. Ooh, spooky. That's because of a weird gravity quirk, where gravity does not affect the opponent on the... Gravity does not affect your character on the first aerial frame. Your fall acceleration does not affect you on your first aerial frame, but it affects you on the second. But if you want to force it to affect you on the first aerial frame, you can throw out an aerial, and that will essentially make your gravity activate and increase your fall acceleration, making you fall sooner. So that's why the frame window for this changes between a 5-frame window and a 6-frame window, or a 1-frame window to a 2-frame window in this case. That should be right. I'm not 100% sure. So there's your fun fact, though. But you can get a lot of really cool stuff with this. So you get the double jump back air, double jump back air. You could get an air out after the second back air. Hell, you could even get a double jump air dodge, you know. And that means you can wave land out of it. I don't do it without tab jump. Yeah, there you go. So you get some pretty weirdness. Do. Okay, going back. Man. Down air. Down air is some of the weirdest mechanics in the game. It's also a move that is interruptible while active if you bounce. Fun facto. So, down air takes a total of 39 frames. It hits frame 13 through 64, so it's active 10,000 years. Interruptible as frame 80, and auto-cancelable as early as frame 65. Now, that's pretty neato, because if you full hop off the top of a side of the, if you full hop off the top of the top platform, instant down air, you will auto-cancel it by the time you hit the ground, which is cool. It's the only setup you can do it at. You'll also, if you bounce off somebody, you will auto-cancel it in that instance as well. Cat, be gone. Cat really wants some attention. Landing lag has 50 frames of landing lag and L cancel 25, which is abysmal. Luckily, it's a kill move, so it's not like it's going to affect you that much. Max bounces, you can get as high as 3 bounces because you can poke off of people using this move. After a bounce, the hitbox reappears after hit in 30 frames. And after bouncing, you can fast fall as early as frame 13, so that means you can put it on frame 10 and buffer the fast fall. So a 3 frame window there. The strong hit, you're going to notice the hitbox ID 0 for the strong hit between frames 13 and 15, so it's a 3 frame window, is the tipper hit. That does 22%, and that's your kill. It also does more base knockback, so this is actually substantially better than the top first 2 hits. So whenever you hit somebody, you want to hit them with the 0 ID hitbox, that box with the most priority, and you want to tipper your down airs because they'll always kill earlier. And when you hit them with the early hit between frame 13 and 15, it will always kill earlier. Then you have the weak hit. Young Link's is actually backwards, so Young Link's down air is worse, just generally. You can't combo into it to get your kill moves. You're gonna have to like bomb down air or floaty and make it a read or something. So the weak hit is 16 through 64. It does base 19 all throughout, but even still, the tipper does more knockback. But it's not as good. You don't normally want to hit people with the weak hit of down air. It's bad. And then you have the bounce hits. Those do 6% with an angle of 65, and all of these, this data is lost to me. I could calculate the shield stun and the shield advantage, but why? Now we're getting into our specials. We got some more stuff. A lot more stuff to go over. Up special does 79. It takes a total of 79 frames. It hits frames 8 through 41. Interruptible as never. Spins 5 times and hits behind on frame 10. So the first hit, it hits in front first on frame 8. It hits behind on frame 10. That's why ideally whenever you do your spin attacks like a down throw up B, if they DI behind, you want to turn around up B because it also goes a lot farther than the back hit. The front hit goes a lot farther than the back hit. Remember that. That's super important. So if you ever wonder why, oh, I can't down throw up B Sheik because she DI'd behind, it's because you're not dashing back up beam. Cat, I will eat your soul. Make you for dinner. I'm Korean. Annyeonghaseyo. Alright, so we got a... basically, it's pretty standard all around. What you're probably going to notice, though, is that the initial hit has this tiny little head hitbox, right? That doesn't go away on the late hits. So the late hits all have the same semi-spike, right? These 3 hitboxes are the semi-spike. So after frame 14, you're going to spike people. It's really cool. The thing you might not know is sometimes when they land in the center of you and they fly off upwards when you're in the middle of the late hit and you don't know why, it's because they landed on your head. Yeah, it has the lowest priority. It's pretty rare, but it's pretty funny when it happens. It catches me off guard. Yeah, so the initial hit, not a really great kill move, honestly. It's not bad, it's not good. It's just average. It sets up for edge guards a lot of the times. The up B spike's really good for edge guarding though, because you can grab ledge, wave dash up. I'll just show you. Show you this cool little setup. So you grab ledge, force them to go high, and when they do, you grab ledge, force them to go high, and when they do go high, you just up B, and then they get spiked. It's neato. It's a good trick. It's a good setup. And you can react to oftentimes you can react to what they're doing, so it's pretty good. Yeah, the late hits are the up B spike, and then the early hit, the first 2 hits, or the first rotation. That's when you get the strong hit of up B, and that sends people up and away. See, late hit angle ID 0. That's how that works. I didn't bother calculating the shield advantage because it's bad. When you hit somebody, and it's not a multi-hit move, your hitbox can't affect them twice. So basically, after they shield my move, for the next 80 frames, I could get Falcon punched if they so choose. That's why I use it. You don't use this move in neutral or like as a get off me tool. You use this as like a end the combo kind of thing. Aerial up B. So you got the first hit does 6% on the base, and then the tipper with the highest priority does 4%. That's why when you do the bomb jump, you want it to land in the middle. The only things that could break the bomb are the first hit and the last hit. Those are important because the bomb has a 6% threshold. You're going to see with the HP. Wow. There's a lot of data that we have to go over. Anyway, so it takes another total of 79 frames or 80. Okay, let's talk about why not 80. Some animations have a 0 based index, meaning they start on frame 0, and some animations start on frame 1. So if you started on frame 0 and went to 79, you count frame 0 as frame 1 because it's a 0 based index, so that takes 80 frames in total. But because this starts on frame 1 and ends frame 79, it only takes 79 frames in total. That's why things don't always round off the same. So I'll show you an example of a 0 based index and then an animation that starts with 1. So when I jump, you're going to see I'm on frame 0. But we count this frame. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then even though this says frame 5, it's frame 6. And then I jump. But an example of something that starts on frame 1 is jab. Jab 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right? So that's really annoying when you're compiling data. And it would be nice if every animation started on the same thing, but it doesn't. But that's something you need to be aware of if you're going to become like a data person. Anyway, these are all the hits. The only moves that are really strong here is the first hit and the last hits. You want to avoid the tipper hitbox. Tipper hitbox bad, base hitbox good. You can grab ledge as early as frame 42. So right before the last hit comes out, you should never see the last hit if you're like sweet spotting the ledge. That's pretty good information though. So you should only see 4 rotations. Because on the 4th rotation you can grab ledge. That's when you want to start drifting toward the ledge. Because remember how Link has a lot of aerial mobility? So you want to hover pretty far away from the ledge. Then when you drift in, you're going to grab the ledge. That's pretty neat. Man. Bombs! We just made this video. It was dog shit. So we're going to redo that eventually. But for right now, we're going to go over all this data. Because it's important. And we're going to make higher video production one day. General bomb data. Bomb pulls. Bombs are generated on frame 16. Bomb pull takes a total of 39 frames. And bomb duration is 300 frames. And you're actionable for 277 frames or 4.6 seconds with the bomb. So I'll show you what I mean by that. I know we just made a video about this, but this is going to be our big comprehensive guide, so might as well go over it again because it's in the thread in video format. So when I pull a bomb, it doesn't exist until frame 16. Boom, it's in my hand. So if I were to get hit between frames 1 and 15, the bomb, it would interrupt my bomb pull animation. I would not have a bomb. But now that I do have a bomb, and if you were to hit me now, you would interrupt my bomb pull animation, but I would still get the item. And that's different from something like Peach's item pull animation, which if you were to hit her at any point during her item pull animation, even if the turnip is in her hand, it would disappear, which sucks. But that's not the same for Link and Young Link. Now, this is also because the bomb exists in the game. This is where you start counting the bomb duration of 300 frames. But because I can't interrupt this animation yet, this animation is not interruptible. That's why I say, although the bomb duration is 300 frames, you're only actionable for 277 because you have to wait for the total of the animation to end. But if I interrupted, I would be actionable longer. So if a Falco were to laser me, I would be actionable with a bomb for a longer time. Alright, back. Here's something cool. The first pink flash happened, oh yeah, the bomb explodes in frame 301. The first pink flash happens at frame 204, and the flash duration is 96 frames. And that's good information to know, because sometimes you need up B. And you know that if up B lasts 80 frames, and the bomb is going to flash for 96 frames, when you see the first flash, you know, hey, if I up B, this bomb will explode at the apex of my up B. So I need up B now, and by the time my up B is over, I'll be this high, the bomb will explode, and then I can up B again. So if you're ever wondering how people are so aware of that, it's because you look out for the first bomb flash. Number of flashes, the bomb flashes 7 times. That's also important for some timing stuff, but not really that important for like actual gameplay. Just know when you see the bomb flash, you got 1 second to get that shit away from you. The bomb explosion, the explosion hitbox of the bomb, will do 4%. And then you have an impact part of the bomb, and that will do variable percent. You see on tilt throws... Get out of here. You see on tilt throws, aerial throws, and aerial smash throws, they all do 4%, 4.something%, and the explosion will do 4%. How you calculate how much damage a bomb will do is you just add the explosion with the impact. So in this case, it will do 8%. And for the grounded smash throw, you know that it will do 10% because 4 plus 6 equals 10. And then your dash throw, which is bad, and we'll go over why that's bad in a minute, will do like 9%. 9.8%-ish. I put ish here because I actually don't know. Z-drop, for the initial on frame 1, it'll do 1%. If it's been hovering for a few frames, it'll do 2%. And then if you hit them at the latest possible time, but before the bomb has enough downward velocity to explode, the bomb will do 3%-ish. The impact after... Oh yeah, so if a bomb is in the air for more than 18 frames, it will only do 1%. And the explosion causes tumble on Link at 34% before the throw, pre-throw. And that's important for certain bomb techs like the Goron roll or the wall tacking, the bomb explosion. Those things are all important. Also, getting knocked down substantially increases how far you go when you do a bomb launch. Other things like bomb rockets, you need to get knocked down by the bomb as well. So this is for ASDI down, not crouch cancel, by the way, because you can't CC and throw a bomb at your feet at the same time. All bombs knock back at an angle of 70 with the growth of 60, a base of 60. Bomb catch on the ground actually does have startup. It's not instance of 2 frames. And the total catch animation is 7 frames before being actionable. Catching a bomb in the air takes 1 frame, so because there's no animation for it. Bomb catch air total, 1 frame, no animation. Yeah, obviously. Grounded smash throw frame window, 5. Oh yeah, so if you smash your stick and then wait 5 frames and then throw, you're still going to get the smash throw. Arrow smash throw frame window is 7, which is bigger for whatever reason. The bomb hitbox is active frame 16 frames after bounce. So when you throw the bomb at somebody's shield and it bounces off their shield, it's going to be inactive for 15 frames and then be active again on frame 16. So you can bounce the bomb multiple times on the same shield. And then the bomb hitbox can reverse, always sends away. Yeah, that's pretty weird. And we're going to go over all that in a moment. Now let's go over our bomb throws. So forward throw and back throw happen on frame 7. Forward throw and back throw happen on frame 7. Boom. The up throw happens on frame 10, and then the down throw happens on frame 6. The dash throw happens on frame 8, and all your aerial throws happen on frame 6. The bomb throw total, forward throw, all of these take 20 frames, except for dash throw, which takes 40. That's why we don't use dash throw. Hit stun. Bomb impact hitbox does not linger from hit stun. So that means when I hit the opponent on one frame, the impact, and then on the second frame, the explosion. There is no hit stun on the impact. The bomb will explode one frame after impacting an opponent or ground. The bomb explosion hitbox does linger from hit stun, but only if the impact hits the opponent. That means the explosion hitbox is only active for what I believe is 3. Here, I have the explosion hitbox duration when hitting someone is 10 frames. The explosion hitbox during when hitting the ground is 5 frames. Bomb impact duration is 1 frame always. So that means if I were to hit an opponent, the bomb explosion is affected by hit stun. But if I were to hit the ground and still explode an opponent, the bomb hitbox would not linger because of hit stun, and it would only take 5 frames, if that makes sense. Alright, so we got our bomb pull here. Bomb pull animation takes 39, generated on frame 6. Bomb generated data, duration 300. Bomb activate duration 377. Bomb explosion 301. First pink flash on frame 204. Flash duration 96, and number of flashes is 7. The item catch animation, this is your item catch box, and this is this red box, not the bubble, the box, is the item detection. As you can see, catching the item takes 7 frames, and the bomb caught is 2. You're going to notice that this is actually a lot farther in front of Link than you would anticipate. So Link can catch an item all the way out here. Item catch in the air, you're going to notice that the blue box is your item catch detection, and the red box is the same for the item. This happens in 1 frame. This is important to note, is that it's way smaller, the aerial item catch, but it does go higher. It's higher above Link's head. Item dropping takes 1 frame. You're going to see the damage for all that, and the damage, angle, knockback, base knockback, everything like that. Alright, the explosion hitbox sends an angle of 7. This is the lingering hitbox that happens after it. I don't know why that's there. But the explosion does 4% explosion duration. It lasts for 5 frames. And the hitbox size decrements. It starts off big, then frame 2 and 3 it's a little smaller, and then 4 and 5 it's a lot smaller. This is Link's tilt throw and smash throw. His forward throw, total frame, and then it hits on frame 7. The up throw, you can see here, all of the data attributed to that. The down throw, the back throw, and the back throw is the different animation than the forward throw. And then your aerial throw. You have forward throw, back throw, down throw, up throw, forward. So you have 4 aerial throws. They all hit on frame 6. I have that backwards. This is why we go over things. I mess up a lot. Total frame 20. It's on frame 6. There you go. Alright, we have the bomb dash throw, which is hot garbage. Then we have our boomerang data that we can go over. So these are the 3 dominant angles, but there's actually sub-angles. Because you're going to see there's a... Yeah, you can actually throw it in between these. Basically, this is going to hit on frame 45. It's going to... it's going to take a total of 45 frames. It's going to hit on 27. It's going to return on starting around frame 60. And the boomerang duration is 171 for the smash throw. These numbers change for the tilt throw. Also, something to note is when you throw bombs and boomerangs behind you, Link does turn around. Alright, here's the boomerang tilt throw. Again, it hits on frame 45. I mean, it lasts 45, hits on frame 27. But this time it returns earlier and the boomerang duration is shorter. So tilt throw and smash throw are actually different. But I think they do the same angle, knockback growth, base knockback. Also, if you hit with the initial hit, the first 3 frames, it'll do like 17%. But the late hit will do 6%. And though it'll has a steeper angle. Boomerang catch cancels a whole lot of animations. I think there's a list of them up here potentially. No. Oh well. Yeah, catching your boomerang, it'll interrupt your stand, your jump squat, your crouch. It'll interrupt all of your landing lag, your wave dash lag, which is how you get like 20 grounded actionable ledge intangibility. So you get a lot of really cool stuff off of boomerang. This is your arrow. Your arrow has, this is the smallest angle, this is the longest possible angle. No charge, it hits on frame 42, total charge takes 84, hits on frame 18, which is bad. Starts charging on frame 18, no one cares. Boomerang, arrow sucks. Fully charged on frame 60, although, you know, it'll hit on frame 84, whatever. Charge duration, new charge level every 4 frames. So every 4 frames from 18 onwards, it'll travel a little bit farther. Release charge, it hits on frame 1. So as soon as you start charging, as soon as you release the button, it'll hit like frame 1, which is pretty neato. Arrow duration is, it lasts 60 in the air, and then once it hits the ground, it'll last 50. So technically, you can make it last like 110 frames, which is kind of weird. B reverse window, frame 19 after back input. So, you know, flick the stick back, press the B button. You can do it whenever you feel like, really. These are all the point blank information. If you hit somebody point blank with arrow, it'll actually do 1%. And if it is affected by staling, bombs do not stale. But arrow and boomerang do. And so you could actually do like less than 1%, which is kind of funny to watch. Another thing that's really neat is bombs do not get affected by staling, but boomerang is one of those special projectile moves that stale knockback as well as damage. So ordinarily in melee, only damage gets staled, which means that it will incrementally do less damage the more times that move hits within a certain threshold. So, but with certain moves like Samus's charge shot or Link's boomerang, it will do not only just less damage, but less knockback as well. And that's the style of staling that Brawl used to disincentivize people from spamming moves. Obviously, it doesn't really affect Link that much, but it's kind of cool to know. Damn, this is a long-ass video, man. Grabs and throws. Alright, Link's grab. This is his standing grab. It's going to take a total of 85 frames. Hand grab box is frame 11 through 13. And here, I'll pull up an image of that. I believe it's in Honeybear's Link stuff. Alright, shine distance. Holy guacamole. Oh, here it is. Alright, so you're seeing this bubble right here. This is his hand grab box. This right here is the chain grab box. But there's this tinier, smaller bubble right here. This thing right here, this is your hand grab box. And that can grab opponents out of the air. And that's why it's distinguishable. That's why it's it's this thing right here. That's why it's distinguishable from this larger hand grab box here and here. This is the hand grab box. This is the other hand grab box. This is the chain. Yeah, so hand grab box is active frame 11 through 13, and then the grab hook is active 11 through 17. By the way, this is the first actionable frame. Link has by a large margin the largest fucking grab range. Like, just initially, look at this. This is ginormous. This is huge. And it hits on frame 11. That's not bad. That's only 4 frames slower than the average grab range. A lot of people think, for whatever reason, that Link's grab is abysmal. No. If your grab, I mean, if the move that you hit Link with is less than negative 11 on shield, it's shield grabbable regardless of where you are. So, incredible disjoint. Really, really good grab. I really like this grab. Okay. And then you have the dash grab, which actually, so if you jump cancel grab, you have to spend one frame in jump squat, so which is 12 frames. And if you dash grab, it hits on frame 12. So really you would think, oh, is dash grab worse than why would I jump cancel grab when I could dash grab? Well, it's because this takes 95 frames and this takes 85. But standing grab's always better, because when you dash forward and then you jump cancel, you're going to slide forward a little bit, so it makes up for the extra distance gained from lunging as Link when you dash grab. So they cover the same distance, they come out the same frame, but one, you can grab opponents out of the air, and it's basically takes 10 less frames of end lag. I would always opt for the dash grab. I mean the jump cancel grab instead of dash grab. Dash grab's worthless. Then you got Pummel. Pummel's pretty cool because you can combo Pummel into all your throws. You can buffer down throw with down on the yellow stick, but you could actually get double inputs red on all your throws by flicking the control stick and yellow stick in the direction you want on different frames. So you double tap up on gray stick and then yellow stick on 2 different frames, and you read 2 different throw inputs, which greatly increases the likelihood of a frame perfect throw. So after your pummel, there's a 5-frame combo window, meaning if they mash out, you can still combo your pummel, because you can't break out of pummel while you're in stun, and you're still going to be in stun 5 frames after the pummel ends. So Link's pummel is actually one of the best pummels in the game. Like, 5-frame combo window is really big. Fox only has 1 frame. So combine that with the double stick, you should always get extra pummels in his Link. It does 3%, it hits on frame 10, it takes a total of 25 frames, and puts him in 20 frames of stun and lag, 15 frames of end lag. That makes it +5. That's how that works. Grab release, you and your opponent are going to be actionable on the same frame, barring some circumstances with Donkey Kong. And Bowser? There was something weird about... No, Bowser's grab release, he's active sooner than you. But if you grab release Donkey Kong is actionable sooner than everyone else. I think that's how that works. You got Link's down throw. This is weight dependent, and what that means is that the rate the animation plays depends on the opponent's weight. So basically, if they're heavier, your animation is going to run slower, and you're going to have less frame advantage, because there is going to be in turn less. There's going to be more end lag on your throw, and they're going to be in less frames of hit stun because they're heavier. So that's pretty baloney. No, they're going to be in less frames of hit stun, yeah. Yeah, I said that right, cool. Alright, so now we got up throw. Up throw is not weight dependent, so, you know, you can jump out of this. Causes tumble at 17 on the whole cast. That's another thing about throws. They always cause tumble at the same percent regardless of weight, which is pretty cool. Yeah, so even you could up throw Pichu, they'll tumble at 70%, or you could up throw Giga Bowser, they'll tumble at 17%. Because it's not weight dependent, it's interruptibles. Damn. Yeah, it's interruptible in frame 53, so you can jump at the same time every time. Let's see now. We got back throw, worthless. These literally are negative on hit until like 80. So it's pretty garbage. You got other stuff. Link's Zair, one of the most complicated mechanically tools in the game. It's really deserves its own video, but for all intents and purposes, all you need to know is that Zair does not stale, and Zair, you have like less fall acceleration when you Zair, and that's what allows you to tether boost, because it prevents gravity from affecting you. So that's why you can do tether boosting. And those are the only two real mechanics you need to understand with this right now. So here, that's a tether boost. Yeah, so it's going to hit a total of frame. It's going to take a total of 59 frames. It's going to hit frames 11 through 18. It's not interruptible because it's a special move. It has 30 frames of landing lag, which is bad. Landing fall special. If the animation ends and you go into your landing fall special, which is going to happen automatically after 59 frames, you actually only have 4 frames of landing lag. So if I were to get hit, oh shit, I broke it. So if I were to get hit, right, and I'm in the air, why'd I do that? All right, so something like this, I would zare out and then be actionable right here. So it's actually not a bad idea to like air dodge out of combos and then zare. Bad example. Because you're going to drift a lot farther than you ordinarily would. And you can be actionable pretty early. The only caveat to that is if you get hit off stage, then you're off stage without your zare. Anyway, so the dangle duration for that when you're dangling and you're tethered to something is actually 180 frames, which is a long ass time. The tether jump duration is 36 frames. So this thing, and you can grab ledge immediately after that animation's over. And that's pretty good because you can sweet spot that really, really low below ledge. I can't get good. Yeah, like that. That has a lot of magnet hands to it. Of course, the jump landing lag is 4 frames. Here you go. Yeah, so you could actually no impact land that as well. That's really good if you want to set that up because it's really hard for people to like ledge hop aerial you if you let no impact land it. And the tether jump fast fall. Oh yeah, you can fast fall it and actually land. A lot of people don't know that, so they just hover above that area and they take a hit. You can fast fall it as early as frame 26. Yeah, that's pretty neato. You got the Hylian shield, which is only activated when you're standing and crouching. When you squat, it's activated on frame 7, and out of stand, it's activated on frame 8. Turning from stand is activated on frame 11, which is the entire duration of your turnaround animation, so, you know, whatever. When you stop walking, it's active frame 0, and from stop running, it's active frame 25. Now, Hylian shield takes no shield stun, only hit lag, meaning that is the greatest amount of shield advantage you can get from blocking a projectile. It only blocks projectiles, not normal attacks. Another cool thing about that is because you're actionable so much sooner than you normally would, and because you're not in an actual shield animation, if something bounces off your shield, you can immediately catch it. A lot of people don't know that, but it's really cool. We're not done yet, baby. Ledge options. Ledge grab. Grabbing the ledge takes 3 frames. You're able to release the ledge as early as frame 4. Cliff weight duration is 640 frames. You are invincible for the total duration of 33 frames. Your actionable invincibility is 30. And what I mean by actionable invincibility is although you're invincible for 33 frames, you're in cliff catch where you're inactionable. And then when you go from cliff catch to cliff weight, you're actionable for throughout the entire duration of cliff weight. Your maximum grounded actionable ledge intangibility is 9 frames. Now, what does that mean? Well, I'll show you. So in Melee, there's a mechanic called ledge dashing. Oh my god. So here, you're going to see little Link Man, he's going to grab ledge, and then he's going to drop ledge as early as frame 4. And then if I were to double jump and air dodge right now, So you know when you wave dash, you're in 10 frames of landing lag. That's true for every time you air dodge into the ground. So here, I've air dodged into the ground after dropping from ledge, double jumping, air dodging into the ground. And then here you're going to notice the 30 frames of intangibility that you get from ledge persists into the rest of the animations that are available into the game. That's what makes ledge so fucking good. Well, that's true for even ledge dashing. So you can actually be actionable in this game with ledge intangibility with the ledge dash tech. So here you're going to see all the way up until frame 9, I was intangible. So you get maximum of 9 with Link. But there's other ways to get even more. This is called environment collision box manipulation. And you're going to see here, I can air dodge super early. And you're going to see right now, I'm on frame. Oops. Here. There you go. We'll try this. Alright, so here is frame 9. Because it's a zero-based index from your standing animation. So this is, I know it says frame 8. It's frame 9. Watch, frame 10 comes. Oh, I'm still invincible. What happened? Oh, 11? 12? And then it stops. And the reason you're able to do that is with environment collision box manipulation. So you're going to see that I changed the screen a little bit. This right here, that diamond on Link, you're going to see right here. This is your environment collision box. This dictates whether or not Link is on the ground. You got this base position star right here. This says, okay, this is Link's base position. This is his environment collision. This says, okay, I'm on this surface. I can't walk through this wall. I can pass through this platform kind of shit, right? This is just your environment collision. That's all you need to know for right now. Well, there's actually ways to manipulate your base position and your environment collision box. This is called, when you manipulate this, when it's not quite how it's supposed to be, that's manipulation. And that's offset. So it's offset from the standard, right? So here, during a normal ledge grab, when you grab the ledge, it locks your environment collision box into a certain shape, we'll say, right? So ordinarily, you can only get a maximum of 9 frames, right? See, this is frame 10, and then I'm invincible again. But there's certain animations that lock your environment collision box into a different shape, a shape with more offset. And that allows you to get more. When you get more offset, that means you get above the ledge sooner. And when you get above the ledge sooner, it means you can air dodge sooner. And if you can air dodge sooner, that means you have more invincibility to play with. Ooh, fancy. So here, frame 10, 11, 12, you get more invincibility. So that's kind of the basics for environment collision boxes. Your base position star, which dictates like, oh, am I by the ledge? Am I teetering kind of thing? And how you can manipulate that to your advantage. Okay. So we went over ledge dashes, maximum grounded actionable ledge intangibility, environment collision box manipulation. And now we get into this stuff. So remember how I said that your ledge invincibility kind of leaks into all of your animations as well? So you're going to notice on something like standing up from ledge, I'm invincible frame 1 all the way up until frame 30, right? Okay, bad example. Here. Well, this also persists into animations where it really shouldn't. So let's look at ledge jumping from ledge. So here I jumped from ledge, and you're going to notice on frame like 15, I turn vulnerable again, right? But if I were to refresh my invincibility and jump on the earliest possible frame, well then I get this invincibility to persist all the way out through the entirety of the animation, instead of just being invincible for the start of it. See right here, I'm invincible, and then as soon as I leave the ledge, I'm vulnerable again. That's without refreshing invincibility. But with the refreshing invincibility, I can jump off the ledge and be invincible the entirety of the time. So always refresh and be actionable off ledge as early as possible. It's one of the key fundamental things that every new player fucks up for years because they don't understand how it works mechanically. So these numbers all assume that you're refreshing and acting off ledge as early as possible. So your normal setup. Also, there's two different animations per input. So there's if you're over 100, things take a lot longer and they're a lot worse. If you're below 100, your ledge options are generally better. So getting off ledge, you're invincible for frames 1 through 30, and you're actionable on frame 32. That means you're only vulnerable for 2 frames. So if you want to get off ledge and hold shield, do that. Just refresh ledge, get up, hold shield. You're going to block whatever they want to throw out. It's actually amazing. I do this a lot against Marth, because Marths like to throw out forward smash, or Sheiks like to down smash, things like that. Ledge stand over here, it's bad. I mean, you're only vulnerable for like 4 frames, but even then. Got your ledge roll, you're vulnerable for like 10 frames. Sometimes refreshing the ledge doesn't help you that much, or at all. So the only time that refreshing ledge will help you is if you're invincible for less than 30 frames. So in the case of jumping from ledge. See how you're invincible from frames... Yeah, so here, in this instance, you were actually vulnerable for the entirety of time you jumped, but if you refresh, you're going to be invincible frames 1 through 15, which is pretty cool. So you got your roll animation, you got your bad roll animation. Ledge jump, frames 42. Invincible 1 through 15. Earliest fast falls 41. So you could actually get all the way to platform height before you're vulnerable again. You got your bad ledge jump. We don't use that. We got our ledge attack. You can actually get the attack out. See, it hits on frame 27. But remember how I said that when you refresh invincibility, you get 30 frames of invincibility. So you can hit somebody fully invincible from ledge if you refresh that. That's really good. Got your ledge attack, which is 100%. This stab is actually terrible. Also, a cool fact about this, ledge get up below 100, the initial hit is actually a reverse hitbox. Shields, rolls, and dodges. Hard shield duration is 215 frames prior to it breaking. Light shield duration is 1,819 prior to it breaking. Power shield attack window is 4. Power shield projectile window is 2. The power shield window for this is a little green box inside of that, and you have to hard press it. So you have to do a digital press, not an analog. Shield break duration is 490 frames of you being dizzy. Shield HP is 60. That doesn't mean anything to you. Shield release takes 15 frames prior to you being actionable. You can interrupt shield with a bunch of different animations. Things like bomb, throw, jumping is the best one. You can roll. Also offers a lot of buffering possibilities. Then you got things like rolls. Rolls, you can spot dodge, which takes a total of 22 frames, spot dodge invincibility 2 through 15. Then you have your roll total. You can roll back and forward. They share the same thing with just 37 frames in total. Roll invincibility 4 through 19. Roll vulnerable for 18 frames. And these are actually bad roll stats. Comparatively speaking, most people are actionable like on frame 30 or something. Forward roll and back roll distances. These are in melee meters. Not that important. You got your air dodge statistics. Total takes 49 frames, invincible 4 through 29. Distance is roughly 27 melee meters. Earliest possible drift is 30, so you're kind of locked into that drift animation. You're kind of locked in that direction until frame 30. Something interesting to note is that a lot of these invincible options aren't a lot of these intangible options aren't actually intangible on the earliest possible frame. So like air dodge has 4 frames, has 3 frames of startup before being intangible, or like something like spot dodge and has 1 frame, and rolls have like 3 frames before they're intangible immediately. Got your ground attack options. Neutral attack takes 26 frames and is invincible for 20 frames, and then your tech roll animations take a total of 40 frames, so substantially slower, and tech roll is invincible from 0 to 20 frames. So same thing actually. Tech roll vulnerable for 20 frames afterwards as well. Fuck. These are the distances, and you can see in the animation, this is your base position where you start the roll. Link's rolls actually go pretty far. You got your wall jump. The wall tech total takes 31 frames. The wall tech is invincible from frames 1 through 14. It's interruptible frame 6 of your wall jump. So that means after you wall jump, you can interrupt it as early as frame 6 and actually double jump after a wall tech. Wall tech jump total takes 14 frames. Wall tech jump invincible frames 1 through 14. And wall tech jump is interruptible frame 1. So when you do the wall tech jump animation or your wall jump animation, you can actually air dodge immediately upwards and get out of that situation if you so choose. If you double jump and you have a lot of double jump vertical velocity, you can actually double jump, air dodge back, and wave land on the stage, which is really cool shit. You could also air dodge up, tether immediately, and fast fall. That's also a cool mix-up. This is your mistech data. Mistech takes 26 frames in total. Neutral get up takes 30 frames. Neutral get up is invincible 1 through 23. Neutral get up vulnerable for frame 7. Roll forward total takes 35 frames. Roll forward invincible is invincible for frames 1 through 19. This is the distance. Roll forward vulnerable is 16 frames. Roll back total takes 35 frames. Roll back invincible takes 1 through 23 frames. Roll back distance is this. And roll back is vulnerable for 10 frames. You got your mistech. You know what? You can fucking read. Now we got get up attack. This is actually really cool because it knocks down at like super fucking early. You can't ASDI down it at 0, which is pretty neat. It takes total forward 9 frames. Hits in the front, hits in the back. You're going to notice something. So this is your get up attack stomach, and then you have a get up attack back. And these are actually 2 different animations. So if you land on your stomach, the data is going to be different than landing on your back. You're going to notice here, Link actually, when he lands on his stomach, he's going to hit in front of him first, and then, he's going to hit behind him first, and then it's going to hit in front of him with like huge disjoint. It's invincible frames 1 through 26. This is the data. The data, it has a lot of base knockback. That's why you can't ASDI down. There we go. And then get up attack back, you're gonna notice Link actually hits in front of him and then behind him, so reversed order. But it's essentially the same all around except for the order in which they hit, and I guess the time. Because you see this one takes 29 and 20. This one hits on frame 19 and hits on 28. And this one hits on frame 15 and 24 respectively. But same amount of invincibility and whatnot. Wait, is it? No, it's not. Wow, I didn't know that. That's pretty cool. And I'm the one who made the thread, so I keep learning new shit all the time. Wow, we did it. It's over. All right. So we went over the whole thread. I think I explained everything to the best of my ability, but we're probably, instead of doing other massive info dump videos like I did with this one, we're going to break everything down from here on out, compartmentalize everything into smaller bits. But I just did this to get a feel for, like, to get something out there for everyone to actually watch as opposed to having to read my threads and not understand anything. I thought this would be a lot easier for you to comprehend, a lot more palatable. If you guys like the video, let me know. If you think of anything I could do better, also let me know that as well. Until next time, keep practicing, keep fucking reading my threads, studying. Really like the improvement mentality going on in the Discord, and until next time, I will see you guys later.